Everyone, I'm back. Right, let's get Ishy back on. Come on, Ish. Invite. Can you hear me now, Ish? Yeah, I can't hear you. What is going on? I think it's something with my phone. This is unbelievable, isn't it? I don't know.
I'm not
hear
muted.
me. Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes!
Okay, brilliant.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Sorry, everyone. Welcome to the chaotic world of Victoria and Friar House. Ishy, oh my God, I've been so excited to talk to you. It's so lovely for you to come on. And look, Mila, hello, Mila. This is Ishy, everyone. Well, I mean, say this is Ishy. I'm sure all of you on here, you'll all know Ishy. But I couldn't wait to get you on my Friar House Friday and chat jewellery with Mila. Hello, Mila. How's your day been going, Ish?
Good. Kim from Estate Jewellery Mama is in London, so she popped in and we had some catch ups, and then I've just been looking after this one.
Oh, so are you at the office?
Yes, I'm at the office, and then we'll try and get home in time to watch the football later on.
Oh, yeah, of course, because the World Cup's on, isn't it? So you're a football guy then?
No, not too much, but at the World Cup.
Yeah. Well, everybody, I mean, I wanted to chat to Ishy, as I said, for so long. But Ishy, can you tell us a bit about your jewellery journey and when you started, how you first came into this mad world of jewellery? How did you fall into this world?
Jewelry on the side since I'd say I was about 15, 16. I used to buy things off eBay and sell them to friends and family. And I went to university. I got a job working near an auction house in Guildford,
Yeah.
and I think they still do, but back in the really good jewelry team, and I would take my lunch breaks when the auctions were on, and from then I started everyone there, and we became like friends. Um, and after that, I started buying things at auctions, putting them on Etsy, and after Etsy, I think 8 years ago or something, we started on Instagram. So, and then I think 5 or 6 years full time.
Wow. So you got the bug, really. It was from your first job and you just started doing it and just thought, hey, I'm actually can make a living out of this. And I think you've got a really good eye. And I think a lot of it is, it's more than just having the knowledge, isn't it? It's like having a flair, just being able to find something, isn't it?
Buy things.
Ishy, bear with me a minute. You're breaking up. I think I've got my mobile data on. I'm just going to try and turn it off because it's breaking up. Our internet where I am is absolutely dreadful. We don't have fibre or anything here. So, Ishy, and then you've created a big following in America, haven't you? Because I mean, obviously, you were one of the first kids, I'd say, to get on Instagram and have a strong following on Instagram. And you've really led the way with your Instagram account, I think, for other people like me, who I think I'm a bit of a dinosaur, a bit late to the party for Instagram. But you've really set the lead for all of us, I think.
Back in the day when we were you could get like 1,000 followers every couple of weeks or months, and now it's a lot harder to keep up with how the algorithm. I feel like that sucks. So I feel like it's changed so much. And back then, when I guess it was so I became friends with all of the American dealers, and my buying trip, like I went to New York, I went to the Met show in October, and I met everyone. So that's why it's more American based. But met, and like they became my friends, like almost like a family. So yeah, they all
I,
look.
I, yeah, I relate to that. I think we all keep in touch through Instagram, but I think it's really important. I haven't been to the States for a few years and I miss it. I must get, hi Mila, I must get back over there because it sort of puts a face to the account, doesn't it, really? You know, and also I know when you and I meet up, because you're such a loving person, I always feel so passionate. You know, I always think, oh, Ishy, I really genuinely love, you know, you're just such a kind and giving person. I think that comes across, and it's nice when you actually meet people in real life and put a personality to the face. You know, you are exactly how you are on video. But can you tell? What I want to ask you is a bit about your business now, Ishy, and the sort of jewelry that you buy. Because I noticed you put up a beautiful cameo today. Have you got anything that you can show the followers that's your favourite piece of stock now, or anything that you want to show that's a great Christmas gift? Or
I've got the cameo here. I just thought it was just, do you know, you see cameos and then you see really good ones, and when you as well, when you spot something special that's so well made,
yes,
one of those things that you just have to buy it. And I'm sure you can relate. The prices jewelry is going for at the moment is,
oh, I mean, this morning we were trying to buy at an auction, and I'm blown away. You know, I'm absolutely blown away with the prices. And we've got some beautiful stock, some things we've had for several years on our website, but they're all really fine examples. And I think the price is you know, affordable there for what they are. So I'm quite happy as long as you buy really, you know, you're careful with the stock that you buy and you buy nice stock. You know, don't lose heart in it, hold on to it, because you can't replace it at the moment. It's gone crazy.
and it's not really translating to sales. For me personally, it's not translating online on Instagram, but the market does seem to be very high at the moment for good jewelry. But that's when I'm buying. I know I've kind of moved on from, I used to have more commercial stock, I'd say, where
Yes.
I still do, but I just try and buy like good value pieces, and it's hard to forget like these things do cost a lot of money, and when you put something up and you just expect someone to spend like a few £1,000s, it's a significant purchase for a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess mindful of that as well. But so when I'm buying things now, I try and find like a good combination between aesthetically pleasing, a good story, and a good value for what it is, because
Yeah.
I could buy like bezel set diamond solitaire rings and sell them all day long, but there comes a point where you have to, is it really good value for money, or is it a trend, or is this, I want to buy things that hold value and are a good deal for what they are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm completely with you. I mean, my whole essence or behind my dealing is I couldn't do it. I think I've said this before on here, and lots of you that are following probably agree with me, I'm sure. Lucy Verity, Fiona Gray, we are all complete passionate, you know, as are you. We're passionate about it. When we see something lovely, even if we don't own it in somebody else's jewelry cabinet, you just want to look at it and feel it and have an affinity with it, just because you know, we're slightly addicted to it, really, aren't we? And we just, you know, enjoy seeing a beautiful thing. And they're like mini arts of work, aren't they, Ishy? That cameo.
and yeah, and it's just, you know, what you would see normally, you'd see a shell cameo in a 9 karat gold. Everyone sees a lot of those. So when you see something French mark and it's which is a lot harder to carve, it's a lot finer work. So it might just look like another cameo, but it tells a story, and it's just another level of craftsmanship, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially some of the Georgian antique rings and these sort of memento mori and these really early specialist pieces. I mean, I suppose if you have got some money to invest, they're the things to buy, because the rarity of these things, and I think they've probably been underpriced for many years, actually, Ishy, and now we're all saying they're making bonkers money, but it's because things are becoming so rare, isn't it, really, that it's pushing the price up. But what would you, I'm going to ask you if you, I've got a whole page of loads of questions, but we're just chatting anyway. I'm not even asking you the questions. But what would you say that you, just on based on what you've just told me, what do you think is the thing that you sell the most? You know, the type of piece of jewelry. What's your best seller? Would you say that you could, there's a trend?
So recently for me, it's been pendants, and you know, the zodiac charms and anything like related to the zodiacs, good pendants, and a little bit more of the signed pieces, and then like good old cut diamonds. So that's where it's been for me this year, I'd say. And there was a stage where I was doing a lot more diamonds because it was just so hard to find any good antique jewelry.
Yeah, you do have to, sometimes when it's quiet and we're not doing anything. I'm one of these people, I've always been, and I think you're probably the same, Ishy. You know, you think, right, it's quiet, okay, what can I do to make it happen? What other avenue can I go down? And I think I always try and do that. And to be honest, that's why I've started to do these lives, because chatting to everyone at Portobello and in the trade, and I can see, you know, there's been a bit of a lull lately, and I thought we need to spark up some interest. And we've got a platform here at our hands with accounts, with followers that I know Instagram has been making it more difficult for our accounts to be seen. But I think when you do a live and you tell everyone you're doing a live, you know, I mean, look, we've got 20 odd people on now that are all around the world watching us chatting, and it's amazing. So we've really got an amazing platform to you know, tell people about our business, and you know what wonderful jewelry we all have. But
question from Deborah.
Go on.
Asked, when did zodiac themes begin in jewelry history? So for me, I've seen examples like dating back to like ancient Greece, really, like with Abraxas stones. I know it's not exactly zodiac, but I think it's a theme that's always been in jewelry. I don't know, but I'd say since Van Cleef and Cartier and all the big houses made the original zodiac pieces, I think since then it's been a lot more popular.
Yeah, the zodiac jewelry is really, well, I think the zodiac has always been a thing of mystery, of interest, hasn't it, worldwide? And I think anything like that is always going to create a big following. It's sort of almost where we all come from, isn't it, really, you know? But what else was I wanted to ask you? So have you got anything at the moment that you think, apart from your cameo, that you want to show us, or any personal collection pieces, Ishy? Did you?
I've got some stuff on my desk. I don't know. I'll share the pendant that I put up yesterday.
Oh, I love that.
I just thought it was so special. It's Robert Phillips.
Yeah.
And it's just such a nice piece. It's really interesting. He was one of the first people really doing revivalist Etruscan jewelry in the UK.
Yeah.
I think he hired Giuliano. I can't remember exactly.
It's got a Giuliano sort of feel about it, hasn't it?
The most interesting thing, which I only noticed yesterday, actually, when I was doing the photography, if the inside of the mount on the back, they put black enamel. And what that does is it makes topaz a darker color, so it's got more of the...
So clever, isn't it?
So we often think now today when you see jewelry and you'll see like special cups that the diamonds are set into, even when you go back to Georgian times and you're talking about back jewelry, there's always little tricks that jewelers use just to enhance a piece. And it's not something you'd notice straight away, but I do think it makes quite a big difference to the stone, just lining.
It's like every piece of jewelry that I have, even that we've got in our shop, you know, I could look at and I could show you a little quirky characteristic that somebody's gone to the jeweler has gone and spent a lot of time and craftsmanship doing that little quirky thing, that now 100 or 80 years on down the line, you look and you know, from my eye, like a trained eye, and your eye, you look, and doesn't it make you smile? That probably made you really smile-ish when you saw that, didn't you?
Because I mean, to a passerby, they'd be like, "Oh, they're trying to, I don't know, they're trying to make it better than it is." But
yeah,
with the materials that they have, and they had to make the gemstones appear the best quality that they could. I mean,
Yes.
you have 150 years ago, they didn't have access to the stock that we have. They didn't have
No.
pop down to Wards and buy a gemstone if they needed it. Like, you had to work with what you've got, and that's why you see gold alloys that aren't exactly 9, 10, 12, 14 carat. There's sometimes you get like a, I don't know, test a 16 on the gun on the,
Yes.
and explaining that, it's like, it doesn't mean it's fake or wrong. It just means that people used what they had.
I know. Do you know what, Ishy, that we could do a whole live just talking about that. I mean, and you know, even like with, you know, Pat, I remember over years, Pat Navisma, we've chatted about that with like Georgian gold guard chains. And when you guys, when you think about what Ishy was just saying, when you've got a jeweler at his workbench and he's got all his tools and everything in front of him, and he would have just worked with what he had. And sometimes the gold, it might not be a precise 15 or 18 carat, and as Ishy said, on a gun it will come up as a funny number, and that doesn't mean it's wrong or it's bad, but sometimes people just need a little bit more educating about that, don't they, because they don't quite understand, you know, about it. And I think when you do explain it to someone and they understand, I think things become a bit clearer there, and that you realize it's not an exact science, you know. Well, not then, it wasn't.
Family took like 4 pieces of jewelry, 2 are 9 carat, one's 15, one's 18. They asked for a piece to be reworked. Obviously, the mix of metals is going to be guidelines, and
Yeah.
everything was hallmarked as well. I think we've got this perception that everything's hallmarked, and if it's hallmarked, it's correct. I think gold is so soft, hallmarks are about, but not everything was assayed. Like, even today, people don't assay their jewelry when they make. Imagine 150 years ago, you just make something for your family friend. You don't need to take it to the assay office and have it all done properly.
No, but this is why I think, again, us doing these lives and chatting, and just, you know, some people that are just come into our business, or, you know, started to buy a collection of antique jewelry, I think, you know, educate yourself, look in books, you know, contact people like me or Ishy, or, you know, other reputable jewelers, and ask them, you know, ask questions before you buy if you're unsure. I think that knowledge is power, isn't it, Ishy?
And even, I'm sure you do as well, you'll see things every week at Portobello or wherever you're buying from, and you'll be like, wow, I've never seen that before. And it's, I mean, after 8 years of seeing stuff, and I'm still seeing things that I'm surprised. Yeah. I think it's such a big world, and there's so much history. Not everything's so arbitrary and like easy to put into a box and say it's a specific thing.
Yeah, no, you're I mean, you're so right there. This is why I've always found, for me over the years, I've always, as much as I can, I love to go and view a really good jewelry auction, even the ones up in London. You know, to me, that's a great day out. That's you know, I'll go up to London, go and spend, you know, several hours and sit and look, and you know, even if I don't get to buy much there, I've educated myself, and you know, I think that's really important, you know, to do that. Where do you find, Ishy, that you buy most of your jewelry? Do you buy from other dealers at fairs, or do you buy an auction as well?
But now more so than ever, it's dealer to dealer. I will buy from a handful of people that I trust and work, just because there's that whole thing about the hand that it comes from. There's certain people you'll buy something from and you will always do well with the piece, and so I like to trust that as well. Like, I feel like working with good people, it's the easiest way to do it. With auctions now, I feel they're so well publicized, it's a little bit difficult to buy wholesale. I feel like our industry is one of
hard
where it's kind of direct to consumer from source, and dealers are possibly not being pushed out, I'd say, but the dealers are now competing with end clients. And I've had so many experiences with auction houses where you buy something, and if you haven't viewed it, it's different to what you thought it is or what it might be. And I understand everyone has to make a business, and I'm not criticizing it, but the auction fees as well. So you end up spending a lot of money sometimes. And for me, I don't have the time to go view the things in person. So I'd rather
No.
from source and have a look at something and really like get a feel for it before I buy it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I like to see an item and have it in my hand. I think though, when you do get a rapport with a dealer, like, you know, buying from you or buying from me or whoever, if you said to me, "She, this is this and this," I would just, that's it. I know, you know, and I think you have that relationship when you buy from someone and you trust and know them, that you then sometimes you can buy even without seeing it once you know the person and you trust them. Don't you? Do you agree with that?
So it's that level of comfort knowing that if you bought something as 15 carat after you've tested it, if it isn't 15 and it's 9 carat gold, you can talk to them and sort it out.
Yeah.
When sells at auction, there's no real like way to go back. But this isn't a criticism of auctions at all.
No,
Like,
no,
I
that's not what we're doing.
view them, I still look, and do you know, I mean, if I'm going to Portobello and I'm buying, I know I'm buying that was in a sale the week before.
Yeah.
And it might look like I bought it direct from the auction, but there's a level to it. You have to buy it from another dealer. You have to do your own research, your time, find out exactly what it is. And yeah, that's the way I prefer to do it.
I saw there was a question, because I think you're looking as well, guys. Sorry if we missed some questions, because I'm trying to interact with Ishy and you and keep everything you know, running. But somebody said, Ishy, what would be the top 3 items that we would recommend if you were starting a collection? That, you know, what would you recommend to start a collection with? I'm interested to see what you would say.
I read pieces of advice for collectors. I would say just have a feel of the piece if you can before you buy it, because that will tell you more than anything else really. If you're touching something that's supposed to be Georgian and you run your fingers over it and the prongs are sharp, that's probably a good indication that it's not Georgian. It could I mean, anyone who wears a gold band or a wedding band every day, you know how fast gold can scuff.
Yeah.
And so you have to have a sense of reality about something being 200 years old. It's unlikely it's going to be perfect. It might have been restored, it might have been polished, but first piece of advice is just to handle things and handle as many pieces that you can. Second, don't be afraid to ask questions. Show the piece to a few other people and say, like, what do you think of this? Is it like, do you think it fits in with the time period? Do you think these materials are right? And third, I know it's difficult, but I would get stuff checked. I buy from multiple dealers, and oftentimes they'll say they don't know what the gold content is or what the stones are, and that's like, I'll then have to go get things tested. It's another couple of weeks to get the lab to do the gemstones. So it's just, if you are spending a significant amount of money, I would get your pieces tested.
Yes, I think that's a good bit of advice. So sometimes, you know, as in terms of dealing, things have passed hands so quickly. Sometimes, like at Portobello Road, aren't they, Ishy, where people are literally, they just don't have time to test something. So, but again, that's all down to the trust element of knowing dealers for years, and you know, just then you just feel that you don't mind, even if they tell you they haven't had it tested and they don't know, because it's that feeling of trust again, isn't it?
It's not nice back, or if it's not 15, bring it back. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, just to say, guys, like, I know Ishy and I have gone down a rabbit hole talking about this, and I've got other things to chat to Ishy about, but I think really do your research who you're buying from. And I tell you one biggest piece of advice that I personally think: if something doesn't quite feel right, it's because it's not right. So if something's too good to be true, it usually is. And I, not just in jewellery, I think I followed that rule my life with lots of things. And I tell you what, that saved me a lot of heartache, that mentality.
Like, there's so many dealers buying at these markets and fairs. If something's just sitting there and you've seen it a couple of weeks and I mean, good indication that it's not what it's purporting to be.
Yes, yeah, I completely agree with you on that. Right, so I don't know. We've chatted a lot about jewellery, and I've asked you about Christmas presents. What else have I got here? Oh, so I've got a long list of fun questions now. So I'm steering off jewellery, guys. So I hope you're all going to enjoy this. But what is your favourite animal?
I couldn't choose between them. So, like, I'll go left field, but probably say like wildcats, like a tiger, or I looked
Oh,
today. I was decorating, and I've got a lot of tiger themed stuff. So
have you? Well, are you born in Year of the Tiger? You know the Chinese. Do you know what
I'm
your year is?
I'm 1991. I'm not too sure what that is. I'll
Does
have to
anyone
check.
know what 91 is? Do you know? I think I'm 1971. I think I'm the pig. I think I'm the year of the pig or the rat, something like that. But what's your favourite takeaway?
Oh, I don't know. I'd probably say like something like Turkish food or Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
And do you have any nicknames?
Yeah, I've got loads actually. So Ishy, I used to be called like email because my cousins couldn't say Ishmael, and then all my family call me Sheely, which is because my younger brother couldn't say Ishmael either, so he kind of changed it to Sheely, and that's what I've been called since I was like 3 years old.
Oh my God. I love that. Tea or coffee-ish?
Tea.
Your tea boy. And this one, I have actually prepared Ishy for this, but I love his answer. What fictional character do you most relate to? Oh no, that was
Oh,
something else I asked you, but you didn't know that one.
I don't know. I would have to think about that. I'd probably be like
The,
probably like Paddington Bear or Winnie the Pooh or
oh,
something.
yeah. Now, what was the other one I was going to ask you about? A superhero, wasn't it? Let me find. Oh, I know this. This is a great question. Um, do you see yourself as a glass half full or half empty? What would you sort
I'd
of person you think you are?
I'd say half full because yeah, there's always an opportunity to turn things around. I think like especially in this industry, you get to the end of the month and you're like, oh no, how am I gonna pay my bills?
I'm so with you on every level. That I think any antique jewelry dealer would say the same. Doesn't everyone agree? Because I definitely think that's we're all a bit left off center, aren't we? We don't fit into any format. You know, we're just I'm just winging it most of the time. I don't know about you. What I can't remember if you've already answered this. What was your first job?
So I was a trainee financial analyst. So I was doing I did economics at uni. I was studying to be SEMA certified accountant alongside work. And yeah, and now,
Were you? Oh my God! So you're a real boffin.
well, I studied and I enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
my
Oh,
passion.
this is much more fun. I could never see you doing that, is she? No, no way. And what is the top of your bucket list?
What in your experiences?
Yeah.
Um, oh, for jewelry, it would probably be like having a really uh, piece of jewelry from like the leak or yeah, something like that. And then
Yeah.
in terms of life experiences, I really want to. So I've been to Egypt, but I've never done the whole
Oh, I'd
pyramid
love to do that.
and
We go together.
museum. So I really want to see everything together in one place. So that would be great.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I think
someone
those the Egyptian pyramids. I don't know. I sort of feel like there's a calling there for me to go and see all that. It's amazing.
growing up, I was just obsessed with ancient Egypt, and you know, once I started going to auctions and seeing that you could buy things that are like almost well, sometimes you can get things that are thousands of years old. I was like, how is this stuff for sale? And that was one of the big things that really spurred me on. Someone asked, does polishing decrease the value of an item? And is hallmarking a sure thing? So with hallmarking, I'd say it's probably 90% reliable, but you do, if it's stamped, I never trust a stamp. If it's a proper set of hallmarks, I'm more likely to trust that, but I still check every piece on the XRF gun. I mean,
someone's offering to be our guide in Egypt.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Did you see that?
Polishing a piece, I think it depends on the item. It is personal preference. I personally don't touch pieces to polish them unless I'm asked to. But I wouldn't polish anything that's got a gold finish. Like I wouldn't polish this because it's bloomed with.
No. Oh my God, no. No.
Take off the gold finish. It is
the bloom.
Solid gold, but it will have a bloom finish on top, which gives it a brighter color. So you have to be careful.
Have you answered that one? Right, so I'm going to trail back on. What's your favourite ice cream flavour, Ishy?
Probably mint choc chip.
Oh my God, I can't believe you. I love mint choc chip too. Oh my God. And then where was that other one I asked you earlier? Let me just see. There was one I asked you about, a superhero, wasn't I? That was just so funny. And that's another one. What's your favourite movie ever? Have you got like an all-time favorite? I asked Matthew Wildsmith this, and I think he said Home Alone.
I love the movie. I think that's one. I don't know what that says about me as a person.
Which one? It broke up then, Ish. What was that?
White Chicks, the Marlon Wayans film, and then I love Gladiator. That's a great film.
Oh, I haven't actually seen Gladiator. Who stars in that?
Russell Crowe.
Oh, it is Russell Crowe. I think I have seen that, and I think I loved that film. Yeah, I have seen that with I love Russell Crowe. Anyway, there's a few films he's done that have been like amazing. He's such a good actor, isn't he, Russell Crowe? This is the question. What no, I've already asked you that one. What fictional character? There was one I asked you about superhero, didn't I? And I said to you, what was that? And I can't see where I've written it. Oh, I know. I've got more lists here. Got so many lists here. If you were a superhero, what powers would you want to have?
Apart from, like, I wish I could get to wherever I needed to be without actually having to do the journey. And then if it was jewelry related, I mean, you can relate. Can you imagine if you just click your fingers and you'd be at Portobello without you?
Yeah, so you get first to the crowd on the best piece.
Yeah. But if it was jewelry, I've always thought, how cool would it be if you could like hold a piece and you could know its history, who it belonged to, where it came from? Because when you've got good Georgian jewelry, or even earlier, you have to, like, the population. Sorry, the doorbell. I'll leave it. The population was so much smaller than it is now.
You can let them in into the live. Yeah, go on, Ish. Sorry.
Yeah, when you've got good Georgian antique or even older jewelry, like, the people that would have owned it would have had to be the highest members of society, especially at that time. Was less people, so you get pieces like your pinchbeck and stuff that was more accessible. But when you see like a Georgian necklace or a Riviere with all these diamonds and stuff, it has to have belonged to nobility or someone
I agree.
And we probably ourselves have handled pieces that have provenance that we couldn't even imagine. And I
completely agree.
Samantha said she liked the vase. It's from Oliver Bonus.
Oh, I love Oliver Bonus. They do such lovely, quirky things, and that's all really affordable. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I've got a personal collection, Georgian rock crystal necklace, which they're massive rock crystals in very unusual rectangular gold settings. And it's quite long, and I don't get it out very often. I wore it at my wedding, and I've worn it occasionally when I've gone to Royal Ascot. And my claim to fame is I had it on and I was watching it in the Royal Enclosure, and I haven't been there for several years, since before COVID, but I was wearing it in the paddock, and there was a couple, very, very well-dressed couple next to me at the paddock. and I was with a friend drinking champagne, and this lady, quite wackily dressed with red hair, all beautifully made up, with a hat, because you have to wear a hat in there. An elderly but very refined lady, and her fashion was so wacky. And she went, "Oh, your necklace is absolutely amazing." And I was really touched that somebody noticed it and said, and I was very, you know, before I realized who she was, it really felt so lovely that somebody would recognize a piece of antique jewelry, because it's only really, I think, the last 10 years people have woken up to antique jewelry. Often I'd wear things sort of 10, 20 years ago and people didn't really, they'd almost think it was costume. They didn't actually realize what it was. Anyway, it was Vivienne Westwood. So I was really, so I've never forgotten that. But I've got some other questions for you, Ish, and then I'm going to let you go because I've probably taken up enough of your time chatting away. But are you a sweet or savoury person?
What about you?
Sweet.
A lot easier to diet.
What did you say, Ish?
I said I wish I wasn't a sweet, rather than savoury person, because it would be a lot easier to diet if I.
I know. It's a hell if you've got to. I mean, diets, especially when you're coming to Christmas, and then Christmas pudding, mince pies. Oh, just I'm terrible. I think I'd rather have a pudding than a main. So, are you? This is interesting. I can't wait to see what you say to this, because I'm gonna what everyone else is. Left or right? Are you
Right.
left or right hand? Oh, right. You're right. So I'm left. Matthew Wilder, he's left. Zuleika, she's left, and you're right. So there you go.
Left-handed. I don't know. I think I've talked to Catherine from Thomas Glover Jewellery about this. I don't know how scientifically accurate it is, but there's this theory that all left-handed people are part of a twin, and they're like the mirror reflection, and the twin didn't survive. They're left-handed, but I don't know how true that is.
Wow. That's really interesting. I've never heard that before. I feel over my life, being left-handed has sort of, because when I write, I don't know if any of you are left-handed that are on our live now, but I write over my writing, so I've always smudged my writing, and that's really, really annoying. I did used to get a left-handed checkbook, but of course now we don't need checkbooks because we're doing transfers mainly, and we don't really write checks. But I've found being left-handed has sort of, I don't know, and I think people have sort of categorized. Does that make sense? If they're like, well, years ago, didn't they at school used to whack your hands? You know, I'm talking about not when I went to school, but to make you be right-handed. They didn't want people to be left-handed.
Okay. I don't know. But it's weird.
But anyway, Ish, sorry, it's broken up. I'm veering off on the lefty. There you go, typical lefty. I wonder if you actually know this question, the answer to this. How many pairs of shoes do you own?
Probably like 15 pairs.
Oh my God. And I'm going to ask you one more question. Do you play any sport?
I wish I had the time. I try and go to the gym, but that's about it. Like, I never was.
Yeah. We don't have time, do we? We don't have time.
I don't think anyone's got time to do anything anymore. It's just
no.
Go.
No, I completely agree. I think when you're, and also the other thing, I don't know if you find this, when you're an antique dealer, life is quite hard to plan and make exact. Even doing this live, you know, things, you've got people wanting you, I've got people out the back. You know, it's really hard to actually pinpoint yourself and make exact plans. Don't you find that in life? It's crazy now. Hey, Mila.
Really want to advertise car all the time either. So it's like, people ask, oh, where are you going buying and stuff? It's not because you want to protect your sources, but you kind of want to protect your personal safety as well. So
yeah. Look, did you see Sam's put 2 tours, because she always calls me Tor, but which is what my family call me, Tor, for Victoria, but 2 tours. Anyway, Ish, oh God, love chatting to you, and I'm sorry about the disaster with the sound. Do you know what? My phone, you know the sound button on the side of your phone, it was stuck down. That's why you couldn't hear me. And I had to get John to come with a little tool. And I don't know if it's broken, but anyway, I hope everyone has heard us all right. And I really hope everyone's enjoyed chatting to Ishy as much as I have. And Mila, are you ready to go home now for your dinner?
Wait, but
Oh.
we're kissing.
Oh, don't go yet, Ish. Can I ask you one more thing? Oh my God, I can't believe I've forgotten this. Your hair. A few people asked me, you've got to talk to Ish about his gorgeous hair. How does your hair always look so damn good? We all want to know.
He doesn't. I just I don't do anything, so I just let it mop around. So.
But you could be a model for a hair company, you know, like just stepped up, you know, like having your hair done, because it always looks so good, Ishy. You never want to cut it. I love the length of your hair. Hey, Mila, she's getting really itchy now, isn't she? She's had enough. Well, you have a wonderful weekend, Ish.
I'll see you
won't you? Yeah, I don't think I'm going now tomorrow, actually. I think I'm going to a light show, actually, at my friend's at Windsor Great Park. I think I'm going to that with a really old school friend of mine. Some of you on here might know her, my friend Hayley. I know some of you that know me might have met Hayley. But anyway, I don't think you've ever met her, is she? She has been to some of the jewellery shows with me in America when I used to do them, but that's where I'm going tomorrow. But I'll be going to Portobello the following Saturday, so will you be there?
It's been lovely.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me, but anyway, it's been lovely chatting to you. I'm going to let you go, so we're going to sign off, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching us, and I hope you've enjoyed it and had fun. But love you, Ish. Bye, Mila.